a 6th and 7th place starting spot between him and Tim Buckwalter that you can see if the racetrack lends to it, putting together some pretty decent point scores, but Newman almost disaster before it started.
Absolutely, and we talk about the points system in this passing points format. Yesterday, probably one of the tightest in recent memories in terms of the cutoff numbers. I mean, there were a gaggle of drivers all in that 115 to 110 to 105 mark, so every position is huge when it comes to especially getting to that top 40 to make a qualifier, and then ultimately that top 16 to lock in.
I want to say your floor yesterday to get into the qualifier was 80, which is high comparatively. Normally it's in the mid-70s somewhere, so
yeah,
got to put together a good heat race run, and it all starts right here as the field forms up under yellow flag conditions. 8 laps for all heat races. Your starting position is determined by where you form up for coming to the green flag lap. So if penalties happen after this initial attempt at a start again, it's where you start this first attempt at the green, coming to where you're scored from based on the passing points chart. Lights are out just like that. Race time here in Tulsa, as it is Sherb and Adams on the front row, leading them out of corner number 4. We're green on prelim night number 4. A good start down on the bottom from Earl Sherb. Sherb leading Adams through 1 and 2 as they're 2, almost 3 wide for a second. Down the back straightaway, that is Newman flying, hopping around the unrunning cushion. Newman on the top of the track, now chasing down Max Adams, your new race leader down the back straightaway.
Yeah, Max had a really good opening lap to set himself up for that pass for the lead over Sherb. Sherb's going to try to hang on over Roush. You should take a look at your leader, but back in the field, they're still jockeying for position. We saw Jesse Chappell back there, Noah Harris in the middle of your screen trying to go after Chappell for the 7th spot. There's Joe Worth in that 17 trying to follow Mr. Newman. Jake Newman trying to now attack Roush there in the 71T. That's going to be for second here at the stripe.
Car kind of unloaded on him as he came down off the inside berm, but Newman has a real nice line inside the 71T. Tries to get into turn 3. Through the corner they go. Drag race down the front straightaway. Give it to Newman. And Buckwalter's starting to find some rhythm as well. Timmy B has now gone to the high side as he's 7th to 3rd. Newman is 6 to 2 with 2 laps left to go in this heat race.
Yeah, that car looks really good. Again, team car to Hank Davis, who won Monday night, or Tuesday night. So a lot of setup notes shared between those two drivers. And right now, Timmy's going to try to go for second. White flag is out. Adams is gone. Battle for second is on. Here comes Tim Buckwalter, 7th to 3rd. Can he make it second off the corner? No, he can't. Newman hangs on, so Max Adams wins heat race number 1. Jake Newman, Tim Buckwalter, your top 3. Joe Worth, 4th, and Keith Roush, your top 5. So, all right, an early impressive start from 7th to 3rd for Tim Buckwalter.
3 drivers up over 100 points. Adams with 105, Buckwalter with 106, and Newman, the early leader in the clubhouse, at 113, scoring on your first run. All of those will make qualifier results. Heat race number 2 will come relatively quickly here on the program, as last night, long night, obviously. Night before, long night as well. We're going to be moving them through tonight. Just got a feeling we're going to be hustling. So heat race number 2 coming down the ramp, and let's give you a look at our lineups as drivers for this second heat race. Going to include Chase Johnson from Pengrove, California on the pole. Kyle Hammer's going to be next to him out of Illinois in the 45. Row 2, Chance Morton and Dylan Bloomfield. Row 3, going to be fun to watch Jacob Allen go off from there. Matt Sherrill going to give him a tough time on his outside. Devin Camfield in the 17. Connor Morrill in the 2. And Cody Jessup in the 4 car. Those 9 cars make up the second heat race here at the Chili Bowl. Let's go up top to Georgia with an update.
Max Adams got it done in heat race number 1. And Max, how did you set yourself up on that first lap to make the initial pass for the lead?
I just had to get a good start. And starting up front in those heat races, you have to win them. So, just happy to get the heat race win. Felt pretty good out there. Been making good laps today so far, so feel good. And we'll see what happens in the qualifier. I got to thank Corey Motorsports. These guys are awesome. Haven't stopped working to make this thing better. So, got to thank them for giving me the opportunity, and looking forward to the rest of the night.
First time back since 2021. How does it feel to be back here at the Chili Bowl?
It feels good. I don't think I've raced a midget in like a year, so No, it's different and having fun doing it, so looking forward to it.
Knocking the rust off and doing a good job at it. That is Max Adams, winner of heat race number 1, guys.
Thank you, Georgia. As Caleb mentioned, heat race number 2 out on the racetrack, and some drivers to keep an eye on. Matt Sherrill, 6 top 10s on prelim nights, so trying to keep that high mark alive. As you look at Chase Johnson, trying to make a 3rd straight preliminary A main event, running the Sage Fruit 86 for CB Industries.
Washington-based company, Yakima, Washington area. Thanks for climbing on board and continuing to support sprint car racing for all you guys at Sage Fruit. We greatly appreciate it. Sage Fruit, the sponsor of the Skagit Nationals at Skagit Speedway.
So we talk about passing points, Logan, and obviously, you know, there's the scenarios of you're on the pole, you got to win the thing, or if you're outside the front row, but how much are you thinking about, I need to get to at least this position if you're starting in the back to set yourself up, or is it pretty much just head down, get the best you can get? Because I know some of you guys really pay attention to kind of where you want to be come after heat races.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of variables to all of it, obviously. This is a very strategic race, and yeah, for the most part, if you're in the back, every spot you can gain is huge, and yeah, you're not really looking saying, you know, if I'm starting 8th, I got to get the 4th to get in a qualifier, or, you know, just depends on your mindset, right? For me, I'm looking, you know, if I'm starting 8th, I'm still trying to win the heat, and you know, it's just every spot you can get is, you know, put yourself a little bit further ahead than the rest of the guys going into qualifiers, and then maybe you don't have to get so desperate in the qualifiers. So it just kind of depends on where you're at, you know, who's around you. You obviously know going in what guys you feel like you should be able to go by easily, or what guys, you know, are going to be harder to pass. And like I said, so many variables, what heat you're in, how the track's looking. Right now I'm pretty impressed with the racetrack already, you know, becoming not easy to pass, but getting wide already, and, you know, able to make mistakes where you can miss the bottom and have guys sneak by you.
Track crew was here till 4 in the morning prepping the racetrack after last night as we are green, and Chase Johnson has a great start. It's going to stick if we stay green, and that's questionable coming into corner number 3 at best. However, somehow they all drive out of it. Johnson leads on lap number 1.
Oh, big time up over the berm there behind Jacob Allen. So in your 6th spot, you're looking at Kyle Hammer and Cody Jessup. Jessup to the inside of Hammer. And Hammer's going to keep on the hammer and keep that spot in the 6th position. But yeah, tough break for Jacob Allen to roll the Outlaw Star with 4 wins on the year. Finished 9th in points, but he holds on to 4th as here comes from the back of the field, Connor Morrill in that 2MD, but the battle side by side. Kyle Hammer now is going to give up the spot to Jessup in the 4C, so move Cody Jessup up to 6th.
Yeah, Jessup started 9th, so he is coming through the field. If he can get Camfield, that's another decent spot. Needs a couple more to really solidify himself well into the qualifier. Chase Johnson just going to take off and hide from everybody else. He is absolutely obliterating this field with a full straightaway and more. Lucky Jacob Allen once again. Allen keeping Chance Morton within his sights. Guys, Matt Sherrill has gone 6th to 2nd. That's a nice scoring run for him, a guy who's usually pretty good in this building, and he's a long ways ahead of Morton. Caution on the racetrack.
The 2MD, I believe, of Connor Morrell.
High centered there on the berm. Yeah, you mentioned it with Matt Sherrill, and again, it all comes down to the initial start too. Was able to pick up 3 right off the bat, and then kind of separate himself. That they were jockeying for position, so really good points effort. And now everybody's going to be compacted together on this restart. So does Matt Sherrill have anything for Chase Johnson, who's certainly shown a lot of speed so far?
Yeah, huge start there for Matt. You know, he kind of was able to sneak through the chaos there with Kyle Hammer getting a little loose, and lots of contact, but Matt was able to sneak right by. And yeah, Matt's a guy who doesn't race a whole lot anymore, I don't believe, but when he gets in a midget, he can run really, really well, and he obviously runs really good here inside the building. So yeah, expect Matt to have a really good day.
And in one of those second opinion cars, and we documented all week, they have not had the best of Chili Bowls with Jeb Sessoms upside down. Tony Bruce Jr. had issues. Is this the time they turn around with Matt Sherrill?
It's not like they haven't had car speed, though. I mean, they have been in the position where they have been threatened. We watched that heat race with Tony Bruce Jr. He was right there. Things didn't break his way. Maybe it's Sherrill, the guy who gets to turn it around. Green, white, checkered restart to find it out. See if he can hang on to that 2nd spot. Johnson, Sherrill, Morton 1 through 3, Allen 4, Jessup in the 5th spot as we'll come off 4, and just like that, back to green flag action. Sherrill going to follow Johnson into turn number 1. Chase down low, and he's really not getting that far away. Sherrill with a good 3 and 4. Stays within a car length here.
Jessup trying to get up underneath Allen, but as you go back to the front, checkered flag's going to wave, battle for the lead. Chase Johnson going to hold off. Matt Sherrill, Chance Morton, Jacob Allen, Cody Jessup, your top 5. So Sherrill 6-2 in heat race number 2. As Chance Morton will go 3-3. Chase Johnson 1-1.
Yep, that was the Matt Sherrill scoring heat race, realistically, other than winning it off the pole for Johnson, which winning off the pole here in the Chili Bowl is not the death knell that it is in the Tulsa Shootout. 100 points has been putting guys pretty solidly into that 3rd and 4th place starting range as far as the qualifiers go. So do your job, make a good little run through the qualifier, got a good chance to do something good in the A-main event.
Yeah, I think Mitchell Moles won his heat from the front row outside, and then he ended up winning his qualifier from 3rd, and he sits on the pole of the race. So yeah, I don't think the front row starting spot's really a killer too much. So looks like we got Georgia up top, so we're going to send it up to you, Georgia.
The helmet is off. Chase Johnson gets it done with heat race number 2. And can you walk us through the decision process on that last restart?
Yeah, just trying to get comfortable. Just need to do a little bit better job, I think, on my part. I think we got a fast car. It's awesome to carry the Sage Fruit colors. So just a big thanks to Chuck at Sage Fruit, all the employees and vendors of Sage Fruit. So, yeah, we'll get a little bit more comfy, and I think we'll be in a good spot for qualifiers and see how we go in the qualifiers.
You mentioned doing a little bit better on your part, but what does that entail as a driver?
I think just hitting my marks, being a little bit more smooth. It's Chili Bowl. It's the anticipation is definitely there, and it's a nerve-wracking event, and the nerves are definitely there. If they weren't, something be wrong with you or they're lying. So, just do a little bit better on my part. So we'll go out there and be better.
We'll see if Chase Johnson can shake off those nerves for his qualifier. It's already off to a good start, getting the heat race win. Heat race number 2, guys.
Well, you mentioned nerves, and Logan, you've done this several times. Do they get any better?
I don't think so. There's nothing quite like a Chili Bowl heat race, but starting on the pole definitely calms you down a little bit. So I feel like the Chili Bowl hot lap session is probably the scariest part of the day because there's 20 cars on the racetrack, and then your heat race is probably the most nerve-wracking part of your day, especially if you're in the middle or towards the back. Anything can happen, or any possible scenario could go wrong for you. But yeah, I think starting off the pole is definitely makes you calm down a little bit. Like we said, you might not be in the absolute ideal situation for later on, but you can still definitely put yourself in good position for a qualifier, win that too, and then still set yourself up pretty good for the rest of the night.
Well, speaking of drivers who have seen more than their fair share of Chili Bowl heat races in their day, the pole of this one is Joe Boyles in the 98. Next to him, it is the defending champion Tanner Thorson in car number 88. Herman Carrier and Garth Kasner are in row 2. Brody Fusen and Shane Cockrum in row number 3. CJ Leary and Jeff Stoss are row 4. Nick Drake in row 5. The 9 cars who are going after this heat race going around 8 laps.
If the track and the opportunities to pass are there, Nick Drake could be sneaky point getter here. He's always fastest building. He only runs the midget maybe 2-3 times a year. Primarily runs the micro down at Millbridge Speedway with us, but good buddy of mine as well, so I like to see him do well. But again, CJ Leary, good opportunity to try to showcase the speed of that ABR 55. We know it's there. Alex didn't have any luck. Jake Swanson kind of just didn't get enough in the qualifier to get up toward the front of his starting spot in last night's feature. What can CJ do here behind the wheel before he goes back USAC racing full-time in 2023?
Part of what's going to come up is how quick can you get around the guys that you're supposed to get around. And in this heat race, there's a lot of good cars. It's not going to be a whole lot of easy pickings for those guys coming from deep in the field.
Joe Boyles, Tanner Thorson, your front row. Heat race number 3 underway. Stacked up behind him as Fusen's going to try to go outside, but he's going to get caught. There goes Shane Cockrum through the middle of the Ramco entry, and it is absolute contact fest as there goes Matt Sherrill around and Tommy Tipover for car number 7M.
Shane Cockrum.
Cockrum, yeah, upside down.
Complete chaos getting into turn 3.
I mean, everybody just trying to think they have fenders on these things.
Drake got a piece of that on his way by as well, so we'll keep a look at damage potentially on those race cars. We had Taylor Courtney in with us yesterday during the pre-race show during the Dirt Track Hot Laps. And there is Drake. I had saw it as they came through off that shot, and he had gotten a little piece of Cockrum on the way by. So here comes the crew down into the Dave.com work area. Let's see what they can do to the Drake Mobile.
Looks like for sure the left front shock and coils broke off of it, so he's got no spring on the left front. And then it looked like it didn't turn very good, so maybe possibly a tie rod or drag link or something else broken on the front end of that one.
Brian's live on the scene from the wreck. Brian.
Yeah, guys, I'm walking around and I don't really see much on this car, so we're going to make our way over to the work area and see what they're working on over there. But your white 7M is ready to roll off.
Well, we've got our cameraman with the plan. Jason Ackerman has wandered down the ramp. He's trying to get a good viewpoint on it, and Connor has scrambled down as well. So there is the shot from Jason as they work on the left front and work on replacing the wheel at the same time as your tire flat.
So Jason taking the shock off. You've got the left front there. Probably need to move a little bit quicker. They're going to double file this group back up, so that's going to take an extra minute or so as we'll get a complete restart. But take a look really quick at the iBox Springs instant replay. Watch Shane Cockrum there coming down off the cushion right in front of traffic. And yeah, heavy impact. Jeff Stossen coming to a stop as well.
And that was Susan that gave him the shot that helped him get around. Let's check in with Brian again.
Yeah, guys, they changed that left front shock. They are throwing on that new left front wheel and tire right now. Looks like that is all they're changing. You got McDougal down here ratcheting down the nuts on the shock here.
They got him down.
Yeah, just set him down here and finishing the last little lug nut here on the front tire. And now it's not rolling. They've got something sticking somewhere here. Well, J-Mac just pulls a big chunk of mud out from under the underside of the front of the chassis.
Tie rod looks broken to me.
Yeah, Brian, I don't know if you could see on the left side, the tie rod.
Left front radius rod is in a U also.
Yep.
I don't see him getting that car back out there.
I think that's exactly right. That tie rod all the way across. It's hitting an upright bar there on the chassis that comes right down from the down tube, and that's preventing it from turning all the way, making the tire turn to the left.
Well, Drake is going to have to go back and run a sub-main, unfortunately. Get a second look. If that camera came up more over the top, we would see kind of what we're looking at. So your two support rods that are in there on the left-hand side, the radius rod and then the drag link, which comes off the pitman arm into the steering arm. Messed up to the point where they couldn't get the car to move around. As they're doubled up, lights go out. Will go green the next time by.
So Joe Boyles, Tanner Thorson, your 83T, Herman Carrier, and Garth Kasner. Row number 2, Brody Fusen, and now CJ Leary to the outside. Row number 3. Lights are out. We'll try it again. Heat race number 3.
Front straightaway. Leary smacks the wall. Something serious. Right front showering sparks as he takes down the general tire sign. And there is fluid coming out from underneath the bottom of the Leary car as well.
Tons and tons of debris. It looks like every radius rod and bumper and everything's off that thing. I don't see a left side Nerf bar. I mean, I've never seen so many bars fly off the car at once. I didn't see how he got into the wall, but he hit it a ton.
There was all sorts of contact in that 3rd and 4th row coming to the restart.
Man.
Guys, while y'all continue to check out that car on the front straightaway, still over here in the work area, it looked like the left front brake was bound up, was stuck when they were trying to push the car down further into the work area. They take that left front tire out. The studs in the hub had backed out a little bit when they were changing that tire, so they were catching on the brake caliper. That was keeping that left front from spinning. So they have that left front tire back off. They're trying to rethread the studs into that hub enough to where they will clear that caliper and put that tire back on.
So, Brian, while that's happening to Nick Drake, Shane Cockrum now is pulled into the work areas. You check out the iBox Springs replay. There's Leary in the ally on the top side. Ooh!
Oh, man.
Yeah, he hopped the tire over the car to the inside. That right side Nerf bar, I mean, that is all right Nerf debris that you see literally disintegrated as he hit the wall.
Yeah, Cockrum's car is here in the work area now, and they have the cutoff wheel trying to get this Nerf bar off because it is rubbing on the right rear tire. So the right side Nerf bar wedged back into the right rear tire.
Guys, he's not done cutting yet. Just saying.
They can take their time, too. They're still working on the fence on the front straightaway.
Yeah, they got plenty of time here to cut this off. It shouldn't be too big of a deal. So, man, chaos. I feel like CJ, you know, one of the favorites coming into tonight, have so much speed in those Alex Bowman racing cars, and man, that's heartbreaking. But as a fan, this is going to be exciting the rest of the night because I could still see him coming up through and having a shot here later.
For sure. Cutoff wheel got that Nerf bar at least sliced away on that bottom side of the right rear tire, so they're going to get Cockrum turned back around. I don't know if they're still going to try to get Nick Drake back out, but of course we're getting reports, tons of fluid from that Leary incident on the front straightaway, so still plenty of time. Brian, what more can you tell us?
They got Drake ready to roll out here. They cleared that issue with the caliper. Still has the bent tie rod across from it. It's making it really hard for him to make a left-hand turn. It only goes so far to the left before that tie rod hits the chassis and gets bound up, and he can't turn it anymore. So very limited on the left side, and he's trying to get a push here. And Nick sticks his arm out the side. I'm not sure if he was need to do something else before they get the official push, but they did get that left front done.
Realistically, Logan, how much turn radius do you need on the left front here at the Chili Bowl?
Well, luckily at speed, you really don't turn left a whole lot here, but the thing I would be worried about is, like you said, if you get too much left, it hooks on the frame, and then it'll be hard to turn back to the right, so you might see him jerk around a few times, and it's not going to be comfortable to drive. But at this rate, you know, you're just kind of trying to survive, and you know, if anybody else drops out, you pick up some spots. Luckily, he was already starting ninth, so like I said, not ideal, but he's going to gain a few here if anybody else drops out.
Yeah,
so.
at least one with Leary already off the racetrack, and of course, we don't know the damage still to possibly Shane Cockrum, although we believe it was just the tire rub. But opportunity here, another man's misfortune, another man's treasure. So.
Yeah, and so good news, we've got some dynamic Ace Pit reporters that are going to follow the CJ Leary story as best they can. Connor and Georgia up top, I'm sure they'll be monitoring the 55 cars. One of your prohibitive favorites coming into the night is now looking like a D or a C main bound for him, and what could possibly be an engine change too with all that fluid that was leaking out the bottom of it. And midget motor changes are not quick. It's not sprint car style where you just swap them in and out. They are intense.
Yeah, and I don't really know how many they have, but luckily he's in an early heat. He's got a little bit of time. If he's in a late heat, he's in trouble.
We'll try it again. Joe Boyles, Tanner Thorson, remainder front row. Thorson's going to go around the outside and check out into the Tulsa afternoon. As you look farther back, Jeff Stassa, there's Brody Fusen trying to take the lane away from Herbie Carrier, and another caution, it's Nick Drake. And I can only assume just issues stemming from that first incident in the contact with Cockrum, and he's motioning at least a trip to the work area, or he's done.
I think he's saying he's done.
We'll go back and reassess. Let's get a look at the Ibach Springs replay into the corner, and that time it's the right front corner that he messes up, and now you can see geometry on the right front of that car has got a problem. So Drake, nothing but issues. Leary out already. Cockrum trying to rebound after a lap one flip.
This is the Chili Bowl. Anything can happen. And we just saw now two really good race cars now going to find their way eating. Hopefully they're hungry for some soup.
He's firing back off.
Okay. I think he thought he was done because he probably thought the right front was worse than what it actually is.
Well, we're going to find out. He'll know by turn. Yeah, he's going to know by turn one here. So they're going for a single file start now. No laps in. They've lost the right to start double file. So Joe Boyles is going to lead him to the line, and Tanner Thorson follow him into turn number one. Into the turn. We got more cars getting together, but I believe everybody drove away from it. And Thorson spins it out. 360-degree spin, stayed in the gas, but he lost 6 spots.
And there goes Nick Drake up underneath. So Thorson, although plenty of time, come to 6 laps to go, that could have been disastrous pressure if he didn't keep his foot in it. Way to go saving that thing, Tanner Thorson. You look at Cockrum trying to fight around Nick Drake. So all sorts of movers and shakers now. Cockrum to third, Drake to fourth, trying to get around Herman Carrier.
Cockrum, who flipped
Caution's
on lap
out.
number 1. Yellow flag is out, and it's Fusion coming to a stop.
What is happening?
Joe Boyles wants to win this heat race. We can't stay green.
You had a pretty good lead there, too,
Yeah.
man. That was crazy. Nick Drake up to 4th. This is absolutely chaotic.
It's not Friday the 13th, is it?
Not yet. That's
No.
tomorrow.
Oh, boy.
That's tomorrow.
What status is the moon in?
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
is it in its fullest state?
Think
This
they-
has been weird.
Curious to see what happened to Thorson, but man, heads up to keep your foot in it. That car was about, I don't know, a millisecond from coming to a stall, but he kept his foot in it. 360, didn't hit the wall.
Even then, if he stalls out, though, he gets to start single file with the entire pack there and with him.
Yeah.
I mean, you can question that move one way or the other. Well, Fusion will fire back off. Or try. Ibach Springs replay. Into the corner. Here's Thorson.
Contact with the rear end of Boyles.
Was a brilliant job of driving to keep it going, but look at all that track position that he lost. So he'll restart in the 6th position with Joe Boyles, then Herman Carrier 1 and 2, Shane Cockrum 3, Nick Drake 4, Garth Kasner 5, should be Thorson 6 and Stasa 7.
This is unbelievable.
And there's still 6 laps.
Cockrum was upside down.
Cockrum gonna go upstairs. He's bringing Drake with him. Back straight away. Drake wants the spot. The cars don't fit 3 wide well, boys. Center on down. Cockrum will get by Carrier. Bringing Drake. There's Thorson working his way back to 5th. Now Cockrum up on the back of Boyles. Halfway mark of this heat race. Joe down low. Cockrum reels up on him. Shane doesn't have a front bumper left, so he's got to be careful using the front of that race car to tiptoe and try to tag Joe. He's going to try to go upstairs as now Thorson has worked to 2nd. And somehow Tanner Thorson still has a shot at this. Look out, big flyer taken by Cockrum getting into the corner. Thorson up to the top of 1 and 2. They're coming to the white flag, and Joe Boyles has got a shot at this, guys. Can Boyles hold off the champ? Thorson with a run on the high side. Down low. Into the corner. Boyles has him through 1 and 2. Upset City. Are we visiting you again? Off of 4. Thorson. It's going to be close.
Wow.
Holy cow, who did they give it to?
Looked like
Thorson by 1,000th.
Oh my goodness, Joe Boyles came so close with the upset of the week, but Tanner Thorson rebounds from a spin, knocked him back to 7th, and he's back in a heat race winning situation, but had to earn it.
Wow. And it was only worth 105 points to do it.
Take a look at the Ibach Springs instant replay of the final lap.
So into 1 and 2, and Tanner followed him through. Darts to the high side at the very last second, and Boyles, little puff of smoke right through the middle of the corner. And folks, that's what 1,000th of a second looks like here at the Expo Raceway. What a heat race. That had a little bit of everything. Up top we go to Connor Wade.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's probably the craziest heat race we've seen all week here at the Chili Bowl. Tanner, the mistake earlier on, but first off, talk about that last lap. What did you make work on the top of 3 and 4 to get by the 98?
Oh man, just our factor cane shock stand racing engines has helped us right there, just getting grip and having a good motor. So just got chalked up on the start. He got on the brakes for some whatever reason, I don't know why, but he's kind of trying to screw us on the original start, and then was kind of got fortunate enough to be a single file, and then we were able to kind of capitalize there. And just can't thank all my guys enough. Maestros Classics, Bob Hurley RV, Smith Titanium, everybody that's a part of this deal. It's gonna be good.
What do you think about being a car owner here at the Chili Bowl?
It's frustrating. It's expensive as hell, I'll tell you that right now. When I spun around backwards there, I thought for sure I was going to tear up some shit, and I don't know. I'm glad I didn't, and obviously I was glad I got away with the win. But it's I'm excited for the rest of the night. We got a really fast car.
Yeah, Tanner Thorson is going to be fun to watch tonight in this 88. Guys, back to you.
The ups and downs of a
Yeah,
Chili
no
Bowl heat
kidding.
race. Right there on your screen, Tanner Thorson. And somewhere Clinton Boyles was ready to tear the roof down if Joe would have picked up that win.
If he would have held off your defending Chili Bowl champion,
Yeah.
how cool would that have been?
Well, that was just heat race number 3 of 8. Let's go ahead and fire up the lineup for heat race number 4. Chet Gerke, your pole sitter out of the state of Kentucky. Don Drown Jr. to his outside. There's Emerson Axum in the Reinbold Underwood 19T starting third. To the outside, Mario Speedwagon, Mario Klauser. Row number 3 is Caden McCreary and Frank Beck the third. Row 4, Landon Crawley, Justin Dickerson in the 21D. And your ninth starter, Dylan Westbrook in the 47W.
Most eyes will be on Axum inside row number 2, but that is a really good front row. Chet Gerke can race. Now, he's spent a lot of time in lower divisions of midgets and such like that, but he hustles them around well, and if his piece will perform for him, Chet's a threat. Don Trout Jr. has been here in this arena a lot, and Don, multiple time sprint car champion, knows how to win races, so that is a veteran, talented front row ahead of Axum. And next to him, Mario Klauser has done plenty of good things with the War Sprints. Should be interesting to see that. Behind him, you got guys like Crawley and Westbrook who have had success across multiple disciplines also. Going to be a fascinating heat, and again, just heat 4 of 8 here at the Chili Bowl.
We'll see what heat race 4 brings. We got a little of everything. Heat race number 3, of course, Emerson Axum's probably hoping this one's a lot cleaner.
Right now, Matt Sherrill is your top point scorer, along with Jake Newman unofficially.
Yep, both those drivers going from 6th to 2nd, so haven't done all of our winners so far from either the pole sit or the outside pole.
See if that continues on or if we get a little change as the lights go out. 4th heat race. Calmly through corner number 3. It is Gerke on the inside, setting the pace with Drought on the outside. Onto the gas pedal they go. We're underway. Drought got a good start, but the green lights do not come on. We will see this.
Landon Crawley, though, nearly tipped her over.
We'll see it come back, and we're going to get a second shot. Now the question is, who?
Don Drought not getting a second shot.
So that puts Klauser on the outside of the front row.
Yeah, your warning is when you come down the ramp. There's no second attempt. That's it. So, gift for Mario Klauser now, 4th to 2nd here. Of course, the multi-time War Sprint champion this year, Klauser. We'll try it alongside Chet Gerke.
Pressure from Axum on the bottom. You can see him using the front bumper up, and there's the gap that he needed to get underneath Gerke in turn number 3. He'll shoot the gap. Gerke will come back at him, but Emerson Axum already in your lead. Number 1 lap down.
Here comes Klauser trying to follow through, knifing it in on the inside. Use a little bit of the chrome horn. Mario Klauser to 2nd. Again, originally going to be scored starting from 4th. Crawley from the back, trying to crack the top 5 as Gerke up on the backstretch wall.
Trying to settle the race car down and getting some rhythm. As Gerke on the high side, now having to defend against McCreary in the 72X, and he'll move through. Crawley's going to go with him. Landon Crawley in the 82, working to move forward in front of him. McCreary in the 72X. As you can see, Dylan Westbrook getting the left side tires up onto the apron. Two laps to go for Emerson Axum.
Yep, already a full straightaway, just about over Mario Klauser. Don Drown Jr. solidly. We got one spun around in turn number 3, right in front of your leader, Justin Dickerson.
27J of Frank Beck. You remember?
Oh.
Sorry, 27D. 21D? 21D. Easy for me to say. Justin Dickerson is the one who's around. Beck, we saw take a massive flip in hot laps. It looks like he's got the car back together and is out there. That is Dickerson, who is the one who is spun around, and to the back of the field it goes.
Immediately cranking on the shocks you saw in the cockpit. looped it around once again right in front of your leader coming to the white flag. So we'll get a 2-lap shootout here. Heat race number 4. Axum had a full straightaway over Mario Klauser. Don Drow Jr. about to get in the company of Cade McCreary. Landon Crawley from 7th, was flirting with 4th, still holds that 5th position. As the lights are out, be 2-lap shootout for Emerson Axum.
Mario Klauser in 2nd, Don Drow Jr. in 3rd. Time at a premium here in this heat race. We're back to green. Front 2 getting away from everybody else relatively quickly. And just like that, one to go.
Yeah, one to go for Emerson Axum. They're battling for 3rd behind him, but down the back straightaway, it's going to be Emerson Axum as there's the battle for 3rd. Drow Jr. leaves the door open. Here comes McCreary. All sorts of contact. Drow's going to hang on, and Landon Crawley's going to go 7-4. But your winner from the 3rd starting spot is Emerson Axum. Starting off his Chili Bowl prelim night on a good note.
110 points for him, 103 for Klauser to go with. 7-4, only worth 94 points, but that will get Crawley into the qualifiers at minimum. So we're halfway through the heat races. Glad to have you in with us on FloRacing, wherever you guys are watching.